So far, all the videos related to the courses, this course has been uploaded on the YouTube. I hope everybody is aware of it. Uh, so today we are going to start with, though last class we have given introduction of classification of power amplifiers. In today's class we will complete this and look into the specific type of power amplifier. The topic is classification of output stages or classification of power amplifier. So this is the topic of today's class. So here the classification is done based on the conduction period of collector current, that's IC. Last class, if you can recall, we have explained you the characteristics of a BJT. This is an output characteristics of a BJT, and we explained the graph of VC versus IC for the constant base current. That's how the output characteristics is plotted. And from the circuit point of view, I mean common emitter circuit point of view, KVL can be applied from collector DC collector voltage, DC voltage to the ground. That gives us this equation, and this equation x and y coordinate resembles the same the coordinates of this characteristics, which is VC and IC. So this KVL equation is nothing but a straight line equation. We can rearrange the terms here in the form of a straight line, like y is equal to mx plus c, y being IC and x being the collector emitter voltage. So this straight line equation can be plotted on the output characteristics since x and y coordinates are same. So based on this, superimposing this load line on the output characteristics of BJT, we can classify the power amplifiers into different categories. So the same thing we are looking here. So having said that, they explained about output characteristics of BJT. So classification of power amplifier is done based on the conduction period of collector current for the full cycle of input signal. So input signal is usually the sinusoidal wave which we are applying here. For the sinusoidal input that we are applying as an input, and we are seeing at the output whether collector current flows for the entire duration of input AC signal, or it only flows for half of the input signal, half of the input cycle. So based on that, we can decide different types of power amplifier. So this is the basis for classification of power amplifier. So basis is conduction period of collector current, whether collector current is flowing for full input cycle or half of the input cycle or 75% of the input cycle. So decide based on that, we are going to classify the power amplifier. Okay, so that decides the class of output stage or power amplifier. So now let us move to the second point here, the conduction period of the collector current, that is the output current here, that is a function of the Q point here. Okay, Q point we explained, just you can have a look at here. The Q point is at the mid of the load line. It's a coordinate on this load line. Okay, so Q point is chosen such that it is in the active region here in this case. Okay, so the Q point, now the collector current IC that we have plotted here depends on this Q point here. The same thing we are trying to explain here. So the collector current, the conduction period of the collector current, how long the waveform or signal flows, collector current signal flows, that depends on the Q point here. Where exactly Q point is located here. Sometimes the collector current flows only for some duration of the input cycle. If Q point is very close to the cutoff region, see, let me go on again to this. See, this Q point can be anywhere on this line. It can be towards saturation region, which is at the top here. It can be towards x-axis here. So Q point to keep moving like this. Let me show an arrow mark here. On the line, Q point can be here or Q point can be here. Okay. The collector current, the cycle, the conduction period of the collector current depends on this Q point here. Where exactly the Q point is located. Though here we have shown that Q point for an amplifier, it has to be at the mid of the load line here. Q point is nothing but it has coordinate like VCE and IC, because if you extend towards x-axis, the coordinate is VCE, and if this point is extended towards y-axis, the coordinate is IC. So therefore, this is a point. It's like a point, what we say in mathematics. So in order to in order to fix a point in the space, we need to have two coordinate. Likewise, here also we have a x coordinate and there is a y coordinate here. So having these two coordinates VCE and IC, we can locate the point. And now we are saying that this point can be anywhere on this line. What is straight line? Straight line is nothing but it's a collection of points. There are many points here. The collection of this point makes a straight line. Now we are fixing the Q point, or point, one point here on the straight line, which is mid of this extreme end here and this another end here. So this is called as a quiescent point here. We are labeling this as a Q point here. Since it is in the active region, it is suitable for the amplification. Now here we are saying that the Q point can be anywhere on the load line here. So based on this Q point, this collector current signal flows, conducts. That's what we are trying to say in this here. So the conduction period of the collector current depends on the Q point here. The position of the operating point on the DC load line decides the conduction period for the collector current. I hope these 2 points are clarified to you. Now let us see various classes of operation of power amplifiers. We know that we can classify this based on the conduction of collector current into 4 categories: class A, class B, class C amplifier, class AB amplifier. So these are the 4 different types of classes of power amplifiers that we can see based on the conduction period of collector current here. Okay, now let us go to the specific to the class A amplifier. So see the various points that we are covering under class A amplifier. So class A is one of the type of power amplifier. Then under what conditions we can say that power amplifier belongs to class A? So the power amplifier is said to be a class A power amplifier if it satisfies these conditions. If the operating point or quiescent point and the input signal, which is sinusoidal input signal, if these two are selected, I mean the Q point is selected and given input signal that we are preferring, in our case it is sinusoidal. So these two things are selected such that output signal flows for the full input cycle. Okay, I hope you understood the definition here for what type of amplifier we call as a class A power amplifier. I repeat once again, the power amplifier can be called as a class A amplifier if the Q point or operating point and the input signal cycle that we are selecting should be such that the output signal should flow for the full input cycle. Okay, suppose if my input cycle is going to be like a sinusoidal, this is one full input cycle. Here we have 0 degree and here we have 360 degree. This is called one full cycle. If I treat this as an input signal, okay, or base current in our case, in an BJT based amplifier case, and we are selecting Q point and the input signal such that even the output current also should flow for the entire duration of input cycle. So whatever you see the input signal here, for the complete duration of input cycle, the output signal should be flowing, output current will be flowing. Okay, so in this case it is going to be the IC. So this kind of the type of amplifiers can be called as class A amplifier. I hope the definition is clear to you. The power amplifier is said to be class A amplifier if at all the Q point and the input signal are selected such that output signal is obtained for the full input cycle. This is the input cycle. So we are getting output signal for the full input cycle. So such kind of amplifiers are called as class A power amplifier. Let us see that other details of the class A power amplifier. The Q point in the class A power amplifier is approximately at the mid of the load line. And as I told you in the beginning itself, location of Q point is very important for the classification of amplifier. Especially for class A amplifier, the Q point is located at the midpoint of the load line, as we have seen in this diagram. So the Q point is located at the midpoint of this load line, on the DC load line. This line is nothing but it is an equation that is obeying this equation, minus VCC plus ICRC plus VCE. This is the straight line equation, and we have drawn this equation that gives us this line, and we are selecting operating point on anywhere on this load line. But for class A amplifier, the Q point has to be at the mid of the load line. That is a condition. Okay, only when we choose Q point at the mid of the load line, so then only we can get okay, the full flow of the current in the output current which you can expect output current to be flowing for the full cycle. Okay, so these are the things which we need to follow during to understand this class A operation. 1 minute. Okay, all right, we discussed about definition of class A amplifier, and we also discussed about condition for the required to satisfy for the class A amplifier. Now let us see other things here. What region we need to operate the transistor in order to use it as a class A amplifier. Now for all the values of input signal, in order to produce at the output, we need to operate transistor in the active region. Okay, and transistor we should make sure that it do not enter into the cutoff region or saturation region. Okay, this is the region preferred for the class A amplifier. The transistor that we are using must be operated in the active region. Remember that we are explaining this type power amplifiers with reference to the BJT. Therefore, these three regions of operations, so all students must be familiar. What are three regions of operation of BJT? The first region is going to be the cutoff region. The second region of operation is active region.
Active region and saturation.
Saturation region. We have seen this on the characteristics also. Look at here. Where is cutoff region? This x-axis. Why x-axis is called as a cutoff region? Any specific reason? Why this cutoff region is located on the x-axis? Look at the base current here. What is the base current on the x-axis? What is the value of base current on x-axis? It's 0, right? Look at how we plot these characteristics. It's VC versus IC for constant base current. Look at here, base current keeps increasing as we move above and above. 10 microampere, 20, 30, 40. But on x-axis, what is the base current? It is 0. What do you mean by base current is 0? That means transistor is cut off, right? What is the input current for the BJT? It is base current. Whenever you don't provide any base current, transistor definitely it will be in off mode. So such a region is called as a cutoff region. Now when we provide sufficient base current, say for example, say 30 microampere, that gives us proper collector current. And look at here, Q point is exactly at the mid of this load line. Okay, this is an active region, favorable for amplifiers. And when we move above here, saturation region, this is not good for amplifier. Cutoff region is also not good for amplifier. Here the transistor can be used as a off switch. In saturation, transistor can be used as an on switch. Whereas in the active region, transistor can be used as amplifier. Students, you must be familiar with these regions of operation, how we divide the output characteristics of BJT into three different regions. That's very important. Wherever you find straight lines like this, the characteristics, that is called as an active region. And here below you can see that at the extreme end of this y-axis, that is the saturation region. Okay, this region is not preferred for amplifier. It is only preferred for a switch. Okay. So with that, let me go to this here. So we said that there are 3 regions of operation of BJT: cutoff region, active region, saturation region. This is a region preferred for amplifiers. These two regions are preferred to use BJT as a switch. When you go to industry, when somebody asks you to design BJT as a switch, you must ensure that you must operate in the cutoff region or saturation region. This is true only with reference to BJT. But when I give you the FET and ask you to design a switch, you cannot use these conditions, these regions of operations, because in FET we have different regions of operations. Anybody can recall what are the regions of operations of FET? There also we have three regions in FET. If you look at output characteristics of FET similar to BJT, you will come across three regions. Cutoff is common even in FET also. FET also has got cutoff region, but other two regions differ. What are the other two regions? No idea? Yeah, very important region. Linear region. Have you come across linear region or ohmic region? This you might have studied in electronic devices, right? Ohmic region or triode region. These are all same. Third region is going to be saturation. Saturation is almost same what you see here. But here, when you look at characteristics, this is how the FET can be operated. Cutoff, linear, saturation. Why I am saying this region of operation of FET is different from BJT is because cutoff in BJT is same as cutoff in FET. No change. This is same. The only thing is linear region what you see here. Okay, this has to be used as a switch. Here FET is used as an on switch. In the cutoff, FET is used as an off switch with reference to FET. Whereas saturation region is preferred for amplifiers in case of FET. I hope you got the difference now. In case of BJT, active region is used as amplifier. Cutoff is used as a half switch. Saturation is used as an on switch. Now look at here in the case of FET. Cutoff region is used as a half switch. But here new name we have introduced, linear region, ohmic region, triode region. That is used as an on switch. And saturation region is preferred for amplifier applications. So you must be careful when you discuss simultaneously these two devices, fundamental devices, electronic devices, BJT and FET. So right now our this chapter is restricted to the BJT, not with reference to FET. So students, you need to familiar with these regions of operation since we are discussing from BJT point of view, not with reference to FET. Okay, the conditions I hope you are clear. So in class A operation, you must ensure that transistor must be operated in the active region, that's the mid of the load line, and the transistor should not enter into the cutoff region or saturation region. These are the two things we must ensure. And here the collector current flows for the 360 degree, which is nothing but full cycle of the input signal. For the entire duration of the input signal, we apply at the input both positive off cycle and negative off cycle. And here output current flows even for the entire duration of the input cycle. For entire 360 degree of input signal, we get the collector current here, which is for 360 degree again. So collector current flows for the 360 degree, which is full cycle of the input signal. Okay, this can be explained further through this characteristics. I hope you can see full characteristics now. Okay. So this is this is a transistor BJT output characteristics. As you can see that we have drawn here curves here for BJT. This is nothing but output characteristics. Initially you can see that current starts increasing, and later on it becomes constant. Okay, so these are the various curves we have shown here. Okay, so though since it is not visible, I'm just writing here for your reference here. So these are the various family of curves for the transistor output characteristics. You can see same base currents are shown here. This is some small value of base current, increasing base current, further increased base current. We have labeled as IB1, IB2, IB3. Okay, like this, IB4, like this. So this is an increasing values of base current. And x-axis, as you can see, it is a collector emitter voltage. And y-axis is nothing but collector current here. Okay, so on this output characteristics of BJT, we have superimposed this DC load line. This is a DC load line we have shown here. As per the circuit equation, this load line has been drawn. So on the load line, we will prefer the Q point. The Q point must be preferred such that it must intersect this curve. And here, preferably, we are choosing Q point in the active region. So I believe that this is going to be the Q point chosen, which is in the active region. And since I already told you for class A operation, the Q point should not be in the saturation region or it not be in the cutoff region. So it's exactly at the mid of this load line. Now let us see the input signal here. So for the amplifier, what is an input signal? It is nothing but the base current, as you can see here. So this is one full cycle of base current we have shown here. Just we can extend this line here. So this line, since it is not visible to you, I'm just redrawing to show the negative half cycle here and a positive half cycle here. So this is one full cycle of base current. So this is IB minimum, IB max, maximum base current. So this is a Q point, IBQ, quiescent base current, IBQ. Okay. This is an input signal. We are showing here for the full cycle, because in class A we said that for the entire duration of the input base current cycle, the collector current must flow. As you are seeing here, collector current is flowing for the entire duration of the input AC cycle. So you can see here, this is the collector current. Full cycle 360-degree, full cycle the collector current is flowing. So this is IC minimum, this is about lower edge, negative, extreme negative, and this is the IC max, which is the positive peak, and this is a collector current waveform. This is a base current waveform, as you are seeing above. Okay, and collector current is flowing for entire 360-degree. That's what we have shown here. And Q point is at the mid of the load line, at the center of the load line. Another waveform which is important is collector emitter voltage. Okay, so this is collector emitter voltage waveform. So we know that collector emitter voltage waveform is 180-degree out of phase with reference to this. That's why the positive here will be negative here. Okay, so this base current and collector current, they are in phase signals. You might have observed this in laboratory also. When you observe the waveform of amplifier, you normally apply input current, okay, and output collector current waveform. If you observe, these two will be in phase. There is no phase change. But if you observe collector emitter voltage, there will be 180-degree phase change. So you can see there is a 180-degree phase change. How do we know that? Because for positive cycle of collector current, we have negative cycle in the collector emitter voltage. And for negative cycle of collector current, we have positive cycle of collector emitter voltage. So there is a 180-degree phase shift. I'm saying it is a phase shift. Don't confuse with reference to the conduction cycle. Again, here you can see for full 360-degree waveform exists, similar to that of input signal. Even collector emitter voltage waveform also. It flows for entire 360-degree. So for one full cycle, the waveform exists, current, the voltage exists here. So what we have understood from this, the more detailed waveforms are shown here below. You can see that here for the class A power amplifier. So for the class A power amplifier, the first one is going to be the base current, as you can see here. We are interested in only one cycle, because later it replicates even for other cycles. So if you consider here the base current for one cycle, which is 360-degree, this is 0-degree, 180-degree, and here 360-degree. And look at the collector current. Collector current flows for the entire duration of the AC input signal for 360 degree. That's why it is called as class A. Look at the definition of class A power amplifier. The collector current flows for the entire duration of AC input signal. And look at collector emitter voltage. As I told you, it is out of phase with reference to these two signals. So 180 degree out of phase, but it flows for again 360 degrees. For one full cycle of input signal, the collector emitter voltage waveform exists. Okay, so these are three waveforms which are important for all the type of power amplifier. So first one is base current waveform with reference to time axis, collector current waveform, time axis, collector to emitter voltage waveform. So these waveforms represents a class A operation of power amplifier. Any questions about class A operation? If you understand the fundamentals, see, you can easily go through the mathematical aspects also, like efficiency, distortion, conversion efficiency. Okay, those things are important for the power amplifiers. All right, with that, let us move on to the second thing, the other details of this class A. Since for full input cycle, there is a full output cycle is obtained for the class A amplifier. That's we already seen that. The signal is faithfully reproduced at the output without any distortion. There is no distortion in a class A amplifier. So this is very important feature of class A amplifier, class A operation. But you know, when you look at from efficiency point of view, later we will discuss about this efficiency, how to measure efficiency of class A operation. But efficiency lies between 25% to 50%. Okay, there is a specific formula for the efficiency calculations. We'll discuss about that. But here the student should be aware of this number. Class A amplifier has got poor efficiency, I should say here, because its efficiency is less than 50%. It lies between 25% to 50%. Okay, later on we will see that why this efficiency of class A power amplifier is less, even though there is no distortion present in the output of class A operations here. Even though the cycle, if you look at here, the output current and output voltage exist for the full AC input cycle. So, but efficiency is still less. Okay. Let's move on to the second type of amplifier, which is called as a class B amplifier. There is small difference between class A and class B. You can easily find out that from the definition. The power amplifier is said to be class B amplifier if the Q point and the input signal are selected such that the output signal is obtained only for the one-off cycle for the full input cycle. Understand this? Sometimes the definition leads to confusion also. Later on we can make you understand how this definition can be connected with the operation of class B amplifier. Okay, so suppose if I have a base current 360 degree, okay, base current is flowing for entire cycle. This is called one cycle. You might have seen this in oscilloscopes also. When do we say it is one cycle? You can even prefer this from positive to positive peak, here to here also. That is called one cycle. Or sometimes we prefer from zero crossing. So here it started from zero and again it touches zero here. So this is one cycle. One cycle means it is 360 degree phase. Okay. So now here, according to the definition here, the output current, output signal is obtained only for the one-off cycle of the full AC input cycle. So at the input we apply full cycle, but at the output you get only waveform for just for one-off cycle like this. Yes, you will see the output waveform like a rectifier, half-wave rectifier output like this. You don't see the output current from 180 degree to 360 degree. That is negative off cycle. Only you see the output waveform for positive off cycle like this. So these type of amplifiers are called as class B amplifier. And let us see the Q point where it is located for this type of amplifier. Okay, unlike previous class A amplifier, the Q point for class B amplifier is shifted onto the x-axis. As I told you in this amplifier, the beginning itself, the Q point is not a, we don't assume that it is at the mid of the load line for all the type of amplifiers. Q point can be, it can be placed anywhere on the DC load line. If it is on the midpoint of the DC load line, then it is called class A. If Q point is shifted to the onto the x-axis, it is called class B. So you can see here now, once it is shifted to the onto the x-axis, now the transistor is biased in the cutoff region here. Okay, so this is what the feature of class B amplifier. Later on, we will show with the help of waveforms also. Now let us see other details. What are the implications when the Q point is located on the x-axis? So when Q point is located on the x-axis, transistor remains in the active region only for the positive half cycle. Okay, since Q point is located on the x-axis, for the entire duration of the AC input cycle, okay, so the Q point doesn't remain in the what we should say active region. It only positive half cycle of the input signal just remains in the active region, but the negative half cycle will be moving into the cutoff region. Hence the half cycle is the whatever you see, the half cycle that is present in the active region, that can be reproduced at the output. But in negative half cycle of the input signal, the transistor enters into the cutoff region, and there is no signal produced at the output here. So as long as transistor remains in the cutoff region, complete input wave is suppressed at the output. Okay, so collector current waveforms now conducts current flows only for 180 degree, that is half cycle of the input signal. In other words, I should say that the angle of the collector current flow is 180 degree, that is nothing but one half cycle. So these are the few details of class B amplifier. So this can be summarized by looking at this waveforms, graphical waveform. As you can see here, we have not shown the complete output characteristics, even though it is not relevant here. Of course, what is important for us is where is Q point located, and we have shown here the DC load line. Okay, this is a DC load line, and this extreme ends, you can see that this point is VCC comma 0, and this point is 0 comma VCC by RL here. It is not RC, it is RL, load resistor. And now you can see here for the class B operation, the Q point is located on the x-axis. This is where the Q point is located. In previous class A, we have shown that Q point is located at the mid of the load line, that is active region. But now Q point for the class B is located on the x-axis, which is nothing but the cutoff region. So this is a cutoff, because base current is 0 in the cutoff region. So this is cutoff region. Now you can see that this is we have not even shown the input signal here. Input signal remains again sinusoidal here. If you draw even complete waveform of input here, that you can see here, input signal can be shown like this. But for the input signal wave that we have applied here, you can see only the positive cycle here is reproduced. You can see collector current waveform, because here, since the positive portion of input signal is in the active region, but look at here negative region. But in the negative region, you can see in the collector emitter voltage, since it is in the cutoff, so the negative. But here, in case of VCE, positive cycle is suppressed, but whereas in case of collector current, negative cycle is suppressed. So the cycle, there is a continuation which is suppressed by the, since the Q point has moved to the cutoff here. Due to the cutoff region, the Q point has been moved. So this region we are unable to produce in the collector current of this waveform is complete waveform is we are unable to produce in the output branch, which is nothing but collector current. So collector current flows only for the positive half cycle. So this portion of input cycle AC that we applied the entire cycle, but only the collector current is flowing for the positive half cycle. But for negative half cycle, the collector current doesn't flows, because Q point is in the cutoff region, negative cycles are suppressed. Since collector emitter voltage, it is 180 degree phase shift from here to here, what you can see. So therefore negative cycles are produced here, as you can see, but positive cycles are suppressed in this collector emitter voltage. So this is maximum, minimum collector emitter voltage waveform. This is AC input base current waveform. So this is IB minimum, this is IB max. Okay, so Q point is exactly on the x-axis. So same thing is shown here. Okay, so I think some waveforms are suppressed here. I think this can be shown in more detail. Okay, so this is a full input cycle, and the same thing what you see here. Okay, so that can be shown below here. So I can, for your reference, I can draw here the waveforms like this. So we will see only the waveform for positive half cycle like this. Negative half cycles are suppressed. So this is the collector current waveform IC. Similarly, below we can show for collector emitter voltage also. So collector emitter voltage, you can see that negative cycles are passed here, but positive cycles are suppressed like this. So this is VCE. Okay. So these are the different waveforms you can show for class B amplifiers here. Okay. I think one part is missed here, that is a class C amplifier. Let me discuss that. I think that yeah, other details I think we'll show here. This, yeah, this is here. Here you can see that class B operation, though there's something is missed out here. These waveforms, okay, more clear waveforms you can see here. Okay, so this is IC waveform, this is IB waveform, this is IC, this is VCE. Okay, so these are the various waveforms representing class B operation. As only half cycle is obtained at the output for full input cycle, the output signal is distorted. That's the thing you can see here, because the complete cycle we are unable to produce at the output in this mode of operation. To eliminate this distortion, we can use even two transistors. Okay, like in full wave rectifier, we use two diodes, right, in order to reproduce both negative half cycle and the positive half cycle. Likewise, even in class B also, in order to reconstruct the entire suppressed cycle, we can use two transistors here. But each transistor conducts for one cycle. For a positive half cycle, one of this transistor will conduct. Negative half cycle, other transistor will conduct. So that overall at the output you see the full cycle. But that is an alternative way to reduce the distortion. But in class B, negative cycles are suppressed. I am showing you the method how to reconstruct this last negative half cycle here. Okay, negative half cycles here. In that case, we need to use two transistors. One transistor conducting for the positive half cycle, other transistor conducting for the negative half cycle. That is solution for this class B operation, because in class B we are losing entire negative half cycles. Okay, so but efficiency point of view, this has got very good efficiency compared to class A. Look at the efficiency number here, 78.5%. What was the efficiency that we said in with reference to class A? Efficiency for class A was lying between 25 to 50%. This is for class A. But look at here, class B efficiency is much more better, which is 78.5%. Okay, so let us see that how this number we are able to obtain through the derivations. Class C amplifier. Class C amplifier is again third type of amplifier. The power amplifier is said to be class C amplifier if the Q point and the input signal are selected such that the output signal is obtained for less than a half cycle for a full input cycle. In the first case, we have seen that output current was flowing for the entire 360 degree. In class B, we have seen that even though we apply complete AC input, in class B only positive cycle the current was flowing, negative cycles were suppressed. But look at here, output signal is obtained for the less than the half cycle here. That means you don't even see full complete half cycle in the output with reference to class C. We see part of the positive half cycle. Okay, so such kind of amplifiers are called as class C amplifier. Now let us see the operating point where it is located for the class C amplifier. The operating point or Q point for the class C amplifier is shifted below the x-axis. Okay, for class A it is at the mid of the x-axis, mid of the load line. For class B it is exactly on the x-axis, but for class C it is below the x-axis. That's where the quiescent point or operating point is located. Due to the Q point selection below the x-axis, let us see the transistor operation. So transistor remains in the active region only for the less than the half cycle, but for the entire duration of the cycle, 75% of the input cycle, it remains in the cutoff. Okay, so let us see whether it can be reproduced properly or not. Here only, okay, the maximum part is suppressed in the output. Okay, reproduction in the output becomes very difficult. Okay, only the part which is remains in the active region that can be reproduced at the output. But remaining part of the input cycle, the transistor remains in the cutoff region and there is no signal produced at the output. And here the another important thing is the collector current flows for less than the 180 degree. Okay, and previously it was flowing for at least for 180 degree, but here it is flowing less than 180 degree. Now let us analyze this with reference to the DC load line. As you can see, this is again transistor characteristics we are showing, this input output waveform, and the base current is not shown, but base current flows for the entire duration of 360 degree. But look at here, since Q point is, this is our x-axis, and below there is the x-axis on the load line, you can see there is a Q point is located. And now see that for the entire duration of input cycle that we show here, okay, so that we can show here what is happening in the collector current. Let us observe first collector current. Look at here, for the, even though we apply complete positive off cycle and negative off cycle at the input, but look at the collector current. Collector current is flowing only as long as the waveform is in the active region. So some part of the positive half cycle remains in the active region. For that part we get output waveform, output collector current. So this shaded region indicates we get output collector current for this portion of input signal. For this complete half cycle we applied at the input, but only collector current flows for less than the half cycle, not even 180 degree also. It is less than 180 degree. So collector current is flowing for less than 180 degree. But look at the collector emitter voltage. Since with reference to these two, there is a 180 degree phase shift. Now you can see that collector emitter voltage exists, waveform, the voltage exists only for less than the half cycle, only for this portion collector emitter voltage exists. For rest of the portion, there is no collector emitter voltage, that is suppressed. This dotted line shows that waveform is suppressed, is not produced at the output. You don't see this, only you see this portion. Okay, these type of amplifiers are called as class C amplifier. Now we will see both input output waveform simultaneously. So this is input waveform or base current waveform. As you can see, there is a full cycle we have shown here for the entire one cycle, which is 360 degree, starting from here till here. That is one cycle, 360 degree input exists. But look at the output. Since it is Q point is located below the x-axis, only some portion of where the input waveform lies in the active region, we get output. This portion is produced. So it is less than 180 degree. You can see the collector current is flowing. But this dotted line shows that collector current is not flowing for remaining cycle of the input signal. Okay, this is a replica of input signal we have shown here, but collector current exists only for this portion. This portion. Similarly, we can also see the collector emitter voltage. Collector emitter voltage, there will be 180 degree out of phase shift between this collector current and collector emitter voltage. If I draw the phase shifted signal here, now for some portion of this um, input. We have here collector emitter voltage, but remaining part of the collector emitter voltage is suppressed. So collector emitter voltage exists for less than 180 degree. So this type of amplifiers are called as class C operation, class C amplifier. Okay, in class C operation, the transistor is biased beyond cutoff region. That is what we have seen. Below x-axis, the operating point is located. IC flows for less than 180 degree. Output is much more distorted than when we see class B amplifier. Okay, class B distortion was less. Okay, but here you see more distortion in the output because entire cycle at the output is suppressed. Less than 180 degree only the current and voltage waveform exist. So class C operation power amplifier is never used in audio frequency power amplifier. But there are some applications, specific applications where we can use class C amplifiers. But look at from efficiency point of view. Efficiency of class C is approximately equal to 100%. Now recall the efficiencies of other power amplifiers, class A, class B, now class C. Class C is close to 100% efficiency. What was the efficiency of class B? Which is 78.5%. What was the efficiency of class A? It is 25 to 50%. These numbers students should be familiar with because so not only as an examination point of view but in competitive examination also they will ask you the efficiency of class A, class B, class C power amplifiers. So now let us see the applications of class C amplifier. Class C amplifiers are used in tuned circuits which are nothing but oscillators and even radio frequency circuits also. Class C amplifiers are also used in mixers of radio receivers. Students, have come across mixers in radio receivers? When we want to mix, the carrier signal and message signal, we use, a hardware, So there, in such case, we use this class C amplifier. Okay, and not only in radio receivers but also in wireless communication circuits. Okay, there also this class C amplifiers are preferred. There are specific advantages of this class C. Let us not look from disadvantage point of view, but there are a couple of advantages, So therefore, that's why it is used. We'll see these circuits in more detail in coming classes. Lastly, we have a class AB amplifier. Look at this is a peculiar type of amplifier. We have seen class A, B, C, and AB. What is so special about class AB amplifier? The power amplifier is said to be class AB power amplifier. Class AB amplifier if the Q point and the input are selected such that the output signal is obtained for more than 180 degree, less than 360 degree of full input cycle. Okay, the current output current flows for more than 180 degree but less than 360 degree of input cycle. Such kind of power amplifiers are called as class AB power amplifiers. And see the Q point where it is located for this. Now Q point is located at below the midpoint of the load line. It can't be even on x-axis or it can't be below the x-axis. It has to be above x-axis but below midpoint. Okay. Now transistor conducts for the full positive half cycle and part of the negative half cycle. Okay, so we can't get here full negative half cycle, but only part of the negative half cycle there exists an output current. Now let us see this with reference to the transistor characteristics. Here we are showing transistor characteristics with the DC load line. In all the characteristics, the analysis, we need not draw the characteristics curves here. It's implicit, it's understood. Okay, but only thing is you must be familiar where exactly Q point is located on the load line. So look at here, the Q point is located above x-axis, here where we have seen x-axis, and below this midpoint is a midpoint of load line. or active region. We have seen this in class here, right? So in between this, we must choose the Q point. So such kind of amplifiers are called as a class AB power amplifier. And now observe the output waveform and output current and voltage waveform. Output current waveform, as you can see here. Entire cycle, input cycle is applied at the input, but look at here. The current, output current exists for 75% of the input cycle. Only little part which is suppressed here in the negative of cycle. So collector current flows for more than 180 degree. Here we have 180 degree, but less than 360 degree. Some portion is clipped off here. Okay, so that is the collector current waveform. Collector emitter voltage waveform, as you can see here. We are shown, though we are shown entire cycle here, but we don't see output for this dotted lines. These lines are suppressed here because conduction is for 180 degree, more than 180 degree, less than 360 degree. Between 180 to 360, some part is suppressed. So we understood now where Q point is located, and both output waveform, current waveform and voltage waveform we have shown here, and all three waveforms can be seen here simultaneously. This is input current waveform, base current we are showing here for one cycle, that is 360 degree, and observe output current waveform. Though input current exists for the entire 360 degree, but output current exists only more than 180 degree and less than 360 degree. Here some portion is suppressed. And same thing with reference to collector emitter voltage. So complete positive cycle is produced, and part of the complete negative cycle is produced at the output. Part of the positive cycle is suppressed. Here part of the negative cycle is suppressed in collector current waveform, but here part of the positive waveform is suppressed. So these are the waveforms that represents class AB operation. And lastly, we have output is distorted, but this distortion is minor, that can be eliminated somehow by using other circuit design techniques. The efficiency is more than class A, but it is less than class B. Okay. So this amplifier eliminates this type of distortion called as a crossover distortion. So therefore, it is used in circuits such as audio systems, radio receivers, and TV receivers. Okay. So with that different classification of amplifiers, we will go to some mathematical aspects of the power amplifiers in the next class. Hope today, to summarize, we have covered classification of amplifiers in more detail, namely class A, class B, class C, and class AB amplifiers. We have shown both waveforms on the transistor output characteristics, and even separately we have shown each amplifier, power amplifier, input output waveforms. So I think with that we'll stop here, and the next class will go for more detailed analysis of each of these amplifiers.